Hi, I'm Ashok Patel. I'm a global network architecture at Owens-Corning, Toledo, Ohio. In the beginning, I was kind of a little bit fearful that it will take a lot of overhaul to remove my old 1 gigabit. I moved from 100 megabit to 1 gigabit, and from 1 gigabit to, we was thinking what to do next, right? So the backbone only to be do 10 gigabit for the enterprise network. And we started with the 10 gigabit on the backbone. And then the demand was coming up, and we was thinking that do we need to do the overhaul of the each and every data center switches and things like that. But to get the right partners and a right technology will help in a slow migration, so you don't have to overhaul all the switches, but you can at least make some portion of the data center that will be 10 gigabit and try to take the advantage of all the servers that is coming out with the 10 gigabit. The technology is moving towards the 40 and 100 gig, but I don't think that will be more from a server connectivity point of view. Maybe that will be connecting the inter switches, but we are not jumping into the higher bandwidth. But the 10 gigabit should be there for a good amount of the time, and it will suffice some of the major blade center bandwidth requirement kind of thing that we are looking for. So what we did is we kept our current infrastructure where we had a chassis based things, and what we started doing is at least start putting the 10 gigabit for interconnection. So I had a multiple closet, multiple top of the racks and things like those. What I started doing is start upgrading the infrastructure to the 10 gigabit. So that's the very first thing that you wanted to do. Once you have that 10 gigabit upgrade, then figure out how many servers that you wanted to convert into the 10 gigabit roam. And based on that, you start creating the infrastructure that will allow the server density into your bandwidth, because you don't want to get 10 or 15 server connected at 10 gigabit and your uplink is also 10 gigabit, right? So you wanted to plan in a way that if you have certain amount of server coming, how much my uplink and infrastructure that I needed to put in. And once you get that particular calculation, one of the best advantages that I always had is now whenever the new server coming up and they connect to the 10 gigabit, I don't have to go and modify any settings on a networking. That's the good part. Because before, every time you connected 1 gigabit port, you had to configure the trunk, you had to configure the port channels, a lot of things that you had to do. So building the infrastructure, size it properly for the server, and try moving the servers, test it out, make sure it is good, and then all that server that will migrate directly onto that will be the path to go.